Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, December 9th, 2025. Total chaos in Venezuela's air defense. The Maracaibo area has been invaded by the birds from the United States ship Gerald Ford, the F-18S, and they have disabled all radar systems. A real madness that has put Nicolás Maduro on the run, and we don't know what will happen in the next few hours. Family, your likes, your comments, let's get started. Oh! Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live, total madness.
Today, in broad daylight, the F-18 birds, the United States ship Gerald Ford, have flown over the Gulf of Venezuela. They've come right in, they've shown themselves saying, "We're here. Let's see what you do now." Special greetings to the 192nd Missile Regiment from Falcon. What a day you're having, ladies. What a day. I've been warning you for a long time, and I told you back then, when you see this starting, get away from the radar and let Diosdado use it. No sooner said than done, prediction fulfilled. First warning, first serious warning. First time what? The United States of America enters the Gulf of Venezuela? Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. Emergency coverage, so we can start to understand what the mission is going to be. To liberate Venezuela. The moment when Maria Corina is or will be in Oslo, one way or another. Where presidents of several countries are right now in Oslo, Panama, Paraguay, Argentina, where support is being given. And now, yes, a complete, total push for the liberation of Venezuela, a historic moment. Your likes are crucial in fighting censorship. These days, social media is on fire. The Chavistas don't know what to do to stop the unstoppable, to try to prevent the tsunami of freedom from reaching Venezuela. What incredible images. We prepared earlier in Military Strategies intro. My goodness, it's just amazing. It's incredible. It's unstoppable. Everything that happened, including details on the planes involved in the operation in the Gulf of Venezuela, is covered tonight in Military Strategies. I also recommend the previous episode. It's very important. The moves Nicolás Maduro is making to stay in power. And what is his contingency plan for what's coming? Within 24 hours. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is the day of resistance, of freedom, and of democracy for Venezuela. On the 12th, 2 days later, is the day when the Southern Command changes its leader. The head of the Southern Command will be replaced by the new one. And from there, the most important window of opportunity will open. From now until December 24th, a window that possibly starting from the weekend, we will start to see flares in the sky. Don't be alarmed. In Venezuela, it's not aliens who have come to light up the skies. It's called the United States Air Force, the power of complete and total democracy. The world's most powerful country is now moving toward liberating Venezuela. There has been breaking news. There has been a lot of information that we need to discuss, that we need to talk about. They are discussing a series of incidents from the past few days. Just last night, we said goodbye with the image of the drone patrolling the coasts of Venezuela. That Black Cat 6 drone. With that code, a Triton. The Global Hawk class was patrolling the coasts of Venezuela. What was it doing? Exactly what happened today? It was locating the radars and their signals. The Venezuelan air defense system, it's also monitoring ships, an issue we haven't discussed much but still need to consider. How will naval warfare work? What will it involve? And which ships will participate? Surely a target for assault and seizure by the United States of America. All right. That drone spent hours all night intercepting signals from radars all over Venezuela, especially from Falcon as well. Let's go there with the map. Let's go there to see exactly what happened and what we're talking about. The image has been incredible. It went around the world. The F-18S in here trapped with no way out, or so it seemed. The ones who had no way out were the radar operators in the anti-aircraft system. In Punta Cardón, they couldn't do anything. System completely disabled. And now you're going to understand how this works and what happened in Punta Cardón. They have deployed anti-aircraft systems capable of shooting down those planes. The Pachora system and the Book M2 system are currently deployed there, one near the airport and another near the refinery. None of them have been able to fire. They haven't been able to do anything. It's also true there's debate they've entered Venezuelan airspace.
No.
There's debate about this topic. Officially, they haven't entered Venezuela's air responsibility area. Yes, they're different things. One is Venezuela's sovereign airspace, and the other is Venezuela's airspace of interest or control.
Hola.
It's not the same as Venezuela's border. The air control zone covers that entire area. There's no doubt about that. In fact, we've seen it here regularly. Look, the red line covers the entire Gulf of Venezuela and goes along the border with Colombia.
Yeah.
Can't you see around here? This one, in this case, has been violated repeatedly on multiple occasions. An Apache helicopter flying over Europe is rare, but it has happened. What happened today is the following. The airspace of Venezuela is these lines you see. The F-18S haven't entered there. The F-18S have been in this space you see here. In this corridor that looks like a kind of shoe, do you see it? The tip of the shoe, the instep, and then the leg going up. Well, just so you get an idea, they've been there. The first group was there and another group followed. There was another group with a completely different mission, but an even more important mission for those planes to be there. And my question is, has this been a distraction maneuver? Maria Corina was supposed to give a press conference today, but the press conference has been suspended. Nicolás Maduro's regime, which seems unsure if it's present, absent, or has already left, has this been a maneuver to blind the radar? The western sector of Venezuela. So someone can leave the country unnoticed? We have been able to witness a full extraction operation. I'll leave it out there for everyone to draw their own conclusions from the information we provide. Who have been involved in today's ceremony? Who has made Nicolás Maduro's regime tremble again? Reno 12, Reno 11. They have been there again, as you can see, walking around from Maracaibo. People must have seen or heard them, at least from a distance. At high speed, they have been patrolling, making circles and maneuvers inside the Gulf of Venezuela.
No.
It's the first time we've seen something like this. The missile group, why haven't they opened fire inside? video.
My commander, from the Paraguana Peninsula, Falcon State, we are the women of the 192nd Air Defense Missile Group General Nicolás Silva Echenique, where we categorically reject the statements made by the fascist Maria Corina Machado, who seeks to criminalize the country and justify foreign agendas. We pledge absolute loyalty to defend the homeland's sovereignty, peace, and honor. Chavez lives.
The homeland continues,
Independence and a socialist homeland we will live.
and we will win.
No to the always traitors, never joining is winning.
These girls are responsible for the missile group of air defense that should have been here today. Subscribe, at least locked onto the F-18S on radar, so they would leave. Subscribe. I'm not even talking about whether to fire or not. I mean, we're not at war yet, and a shot would have been fatal. Opening fire on the F-18S in what is not officially Venezuelan airspace would have been a serious problem. In fact, if they had done it, now we would be talking about a different show and a completely different scenario. Would Venezuela and the United States be at open war now? Between the cartel of Los Soles and the United States. And it's just something incredible, isn't it? I'm presenting you with a scenario that we see here. Military strategies. This isn't a war against a country. This is the first time we've seen a cartel that has access to this kind of anti-aircraft missiles, that has access to military infrastructure at this level. And this is a challenge for everyone, including the United States, which also doesn't really know how to act in this situation. Taking out a drug trafficker with a drone is very different from facing anti-aircraft defenses at key locations in the country. You're going to have to eliminate them as if it were a war, similar to Iraq, similar to the Balkans, to Yugoslavia, and you're going to have to dismantle them. Honestly, truly, representatives of the country of Venezuela, because the country doesn't want the cartel of the suns. And this has already been more than proven historically. But why? Why that bug? Couldn't he shoot? What happened today? What happened to the radar? What did they have? So they couldn't shoot. Well, something happened to them. Something happened to them. Something happened to them. Who worked? It didn't work because the radar was blinded. That radar you see there, the 192nd Missile Group. Exclusive military strategy footage. This, all the details, as always, we bring them to you here. All the research we do, we don't make maps at random. When we do it, it's because we know what's happening, what's going on, and here we're proving it. We have images, know who they are, and know the names and operators of those radars. That says it all. There were two other F-18S in that place. Besides the F-18S, we've seen there were others. With a completely different mission. The other F-18S were jamming Venezuela's anti-aircraft radar. Where were they? What was their position in all of this? The usual one. They were here. On the Aruba-Curacao diagonal. F-18 type G-planes. The electronic warfare ones. Those planes go with the system we've already explained to you on several occasions. We're going to see it again. So that people understand, we're going to see it again because it's important. So that people know, why don't the radars work in Venezuela? What's happening with the anti-air defense? And why are they being seen this way? I'm showing you this video. It's from Iran, the Israeli F-16s entering Iranian airspace. The radar sees them, but it can't lock onto them. The line is too big to have a direct and clear target to open fire. It's called electronic warfare. The ability that the United States has to interfere with Venezuela's radars so they can't open fire on the aircraft. They've been smart because they haven't approached the airspace controlled by the smaller weapons, the 5,000 Igla missiles. Those could have possibly been fired, but even if they had been fired, they would hardly or with little probability have been able to shoot down the F-18. Especially because of the active defense system that these types of aircraft have. It's not easy to shoot down a fighter jet. It's not. So they've been looking into what exactly happened there. They're having a hard time. They're having a really tough time. A really hard time. This shows the United States can strike at any time, and there's nothing they can do. All the sci-fi and series they've recorded in the shorts, on Instagram, on Facebook, on social networks, on Telegram, on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere, it won't be useful to them. When people start seeing the F-18S flying over Maracaibo, they'll realize that the regime is a complete bluff. Complete. And be careful with Maracaibo. Be careful because that area will be one of the first to be managed with air security. They couldn't control it with the B-52 before and still can't now. With the F-18S, they don't have the capability. They're right now out of play. The dancer from Miraflores today, when he saw the F-18S enter the Gulf of Venezuela, said, "I'm going to the bunker and let me know when the storm is over." And it's precisely in that area where it rains the most. It's one of the places with the most water and thunderstorms. And that's what today was about. Storm according to the radars of Venezuela. The operators who were at that moment in the anti-aircraft battery would have reported and communicated about, "Commander, we have enemy planes within our range, but we can't shoot them down." For those who doubt or claim they were outside the airspace or question Venezuela's ability to shoot them down, I'm going to show you this photo. It's a photo from Kodai, the air defense map. There it is. Notice that it covers the whole area pretty well. At all altitudes, there's complete coverage. It failed. It hasn't been like that. We thought this could be different, and in the end, well, it wasn't. No anti-aircraft cannons, no anti-aircraft missiles, nothing. They haven't been able to fire anything. What does the regime say now? Are they going to tell us that their guys on the rooftops with polyvinyl chloride pipes weren't ready to shoot down an F-18? That they didn't want to provoke an international incident that could have ended in a war? They've been saying for weeks that any plane that enters the airspace or gets close or endangers the Bolivarian Revolution will be shot down. If it's going to be shot down, why hasn't it been? We see it in this video. F-18 planes version G, a special different version?
Growler.
That's what it's called. It's like the Death Star appearing in the sky. And communications are cut off. They have systems to jam high, medium, and low frequency signals. All kinds of radar are jammed by these types of planes. Those planes are currently the spearhead of electronic warfare worldwide. Along with F-18 planes, there are F-35S and F-22s could also go. But this one specifically is designed, armed, and ready for suppression and mitigation of anti-aircraft defenses. These two planes are currently the masters and rulers of the skies over Venezuela. Whenever they want, whenever they wish, they just have to enter. and start interfering with signals, which means the air operation to remove Nicolás Maduro will be much easier than we ever thought. Knowing that these planes will be operating 24 hours a day to blind Venezuela's radar capability, the cruise missiles and fighter jets will go in and out with hardly any resistance. The other question the world is asking is, where were the U-30s at that moment? Where were Venezuela's planes? It wasn't there. Maduro didn't send the F-16s or the U-30s. He knew that doing so would have meant the same. Response. The outcome could have been even worse. Out of the 5 or 6 U-30s he has, he would have been left without 3. Or without 2. Why? The radars on these F-18s can also interfere with the radar capabilities of enemy aircraft, and they can also interfere with their firing systems, which would have left them exposed without the ability to protect themselves. The F-18s, which would surely be armed with long-range air-to-air ammunition, would have shot them down from many kilometers away. Despite recent claims about F-16 planes nearing the aircraft carrier, I haven't seen anything about this incident. I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen any video, I have no confirmation at all. If it happened, I don't know about it, so I'm not going to talk about something I can't confirm actually happened. What is clear is that the air superiority of these birds is greater than that of Venezuela.
No.
Falcon, why Falcon? We were talking about it the other day. The drone was doing a very special reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Let's go to the map and let's look at the objectives on our map. What objectives are there inside Falcon? Take a look. According to our air operations map, we have several ones. The 192nd East Anti-Aircraft Missile Battalion headquarters right here. The place where they are deployed will be near the coast, somewhere close to the northern area of Punta Cardón. They will be deployed with those anti-aircraft systems to cover the entrance to the Gulf. This one we see here. In the refinery and both refineries, there are anti-aircraft missile systems. We also know this because they themselves have said it and shown it in images. We've seen it. Missiles very close to Venezuela's energy infrastructure. We also have a naval base, a very important one. Also, in this naval base, there are patrol boats with naval missiles, Venezuela's PCs. At these docks. During the past night, the drone was patrolling along that diagonal, scanning for the presence of these ships. At the dock, so you can see what another of the objectives would be. Attack by the F-18 SS. They could attack them with harpoon missiles, for example, or with guided bomb unit. 39 SDBs, small diameter guided bombs, which would be more precise. Firing a harpoon missile at a ship this size is wasteful and unnecessarily expensive. They practically have no anti-air defense. And with the guided bomb unit, 39s, just like Israel did with the Syrian patrol boats months ago, they would put them out of action. This line is very important. A big hit. Don't forget about this place because it could be one of the first places to be attacked. To secure Venezuela's energy infrastructure. Within the Gulf of Venezuela, where we are right now, well, there are some incredible places. Incredible places. The Castle of San Carlos. Take a look.
What was war like long ago?
And these things. Our ancestors, who sometimes gave each other love and other times blood, set up cannons, the kind typical of the age of pirates and great ships, coastal batteries. On these built platforms, notice they're star-shaped to cover all points. Nowadays, this is obsolete. It's no longer useful. With this, I want to give... The war has changed. We have gone from defending ourselves with cannons, with missiles and airplanes, a very different infrastructure. The evolution of war always at the forefront. Well, in this castle, San Carlos Castle, in this area, it's possible that there is also some system, a bug M2 deployed around here, most likely, ready to try to block the way. The access to Maracaibo, one of the most important cities in Venezuela, and definitely the capital of Western Venezuela, Maracaibo. From Maracaibo and its lake, many of those boats depart that later end up transporting flour to other places, which we also have around here. Well, we have some forts and military bases like this one here, the command of Fort Mara. A fully militarized area bordering Colombia, where there are trainings between the drug traffickers, the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia guerrilla, and Nicolás Maduro's army. Not far from there, in the Maracaibo area, we have the Rafael Urdaneta Air Base. This one we see here, usable for military purposes. It would be a support point for the defense of the western sector, the west sector of Venezuela. At this same base, just a few meters from there, there is also an anti-aircraft defense group. This one we're seeing here is part of the entire command and control of the country's air defense. Remember, the famous girls we saw a few minutes ago saying that Maria Corina, blah, blah, blah. Women's stuff fighting. I'll stop there. This place. Key, also very, very key, that place for defense. And further inside, the Renato Belush Marine Infantry Battalion. Through this area we see here a military base. In the Marine Infantry, along with storage systems, hydrocarbons, refinery, which would also have to be protected. Now we're starting to realize why the United States has gone in there. A critical part of Maracaibo, one of the critical places where something could happen. The bridge? Not to damage the bridge, but it's the only road that gives quick access. And that crosses Lake Maracaibo. If we want to isolate the city of Maracaibo, in case there is a war, in case things get more complicated, if there is a lot of resistance. If the regime starts sending the Revolutionary Guard militias, which is what they will be called from now on, those Bolivarian militias, well, we can cut. A part of the road can be blocked so they can't cross. Security can be provided. If it breaks, it's access by road. Of bridge. This one we're seeing here, if it breaks at any point or gets damaged so it can't be used. The Chavistas would need to take a major detour. And now we're in a totally different scenario. Way too far, the Venezuelan Andes region would have to cross. It would take them hours to arrive, whether they were reinforcements or logistics. And reinforcements arrived within minutes. It would take them hours to reach Maracaibo, enough time to secure the entire sector. See F-18. In here, they haven't been able to do anything. Now look at our line, Poppy 12's Bales and Tito's. Now it has to come in here. We also have to draw. In this whole area here, to the CFE-18. Every time we do this, the map changes, you can see it, and the progress is recorded. Look, now the line is turning a different color. Imagine using B-52s to destroy military targets in the naval base. In a matter of seconds, it could be completely wiped out. There is an estimate. Based on what they've given Donald Trump, there could be about 20,000 casualties. Among the Chavista ranks, 20,000 casualties. Each one can decide if they want to be part of that number. Each one can decide. All right, are you talking about a Mexican plane picking up Nicolás Maduro? Right now, a plane from Panama to Caracas is entering Panama. You mentioned a Mexican plane picking up Nicolás Maduro? I don't have any information about this. I don't think so. I highly doubt Nicolás Maduro will move to Mexico, especially there. I mentioned this plane earlier, saying there was an issue with its identification system. That's happening due to interference. So I'm not suggesting that they're picking up Nicolás Maduro with a plane from Mexico. This is not going to happen. It's a scenario it's not on the table. Nicolás Maduro says he'll present Batalla. The Mexican plane is possibly there to extract embassy staff. Who are there? Nicolás Maduro is not going to leave. We've talked about it many times. We've already mentioned it. The option of Nicolás Maduro leaving Venezuela is not. It doesn't exist. He is going to stay and fight. Because he knows what he can do. At least he's going to try. The first attack, he's going to take it. What happens after the first attack? If he survives, which is another thing. If Nicolás Maduro survives, we would have to see. But I think that with what the United States is going to do, Nicolás Maduro is not going to get out. The first trip they're going to give him, he's not going to get out. Currently, just domestic and private flights. The moment is getting closer. The moment is getting closer. You might say, well, nothing has happened. Nothing has occurred. Well, from my perspective, I know nothing. That the F-18s have come in this far that they haven't been able to be expelled during the time they've been there. It's already a sign that Venezuela is either not receiving clear orders or they're not sure about it. Or they're not sure about it. Is something going to happen tonight? We should be very attentive. It's true that for days we'd been told nothing was going to happen, that the aircraft carrier had left. Now what's happening? Now what's going on? All the people who were talking on social media, all the Chavistas and publicists, the regime that said the aircraft carrier was going back to its base for Christmas, that it was already leaving the Caribbean Sea, that they had abandoned Maria Corina. Where are they now? Where are the F-18 planes that showed up today in the Gulf of Venezuela? Where did they come from? Where do you think they come from? Are they spreading misinformation? That's what they were saying. The aircraft carrier has already left. They're already withdrawing planes. They're already leaving. Yes, we can see it. Yes, it is withdrawn, but to go much further south, much closer to Venezuela. Plus, last night they sent a spy drone to locate the anti-aircraft defenses. Look, last night, now that I remember, we wrote to him on Twitter in military strategy. I recommend that you follow the account and also join the Telegram group we have for all the latest information. When all this starts and we were sending a clear message, look, I'm going to put it here. This sometimes ages very well. See what we said 14 hours ago here in military strategies. When we know what everything does and why it's needed, we turn it all on. That's why you should follow the channel and stay with us. As we were saying. Now we know where Diosdado Cabello's radars and communication posts are. Venezuela, is it your turn to move the radars today? Haha. And I laughed 14 hours ago. Well, 12 hours later, the F-18 planes in the Gulf of Venezuela, they almost went into the kitchen. All they needed was to fire a couple of flares and have people take pictures. That clear? What's the situation right now? And now, that's what we were saying. Could this have been a smokescreen to get someone out of Venezuela? At that moment when it faded to black, off the radar where they can't see what's happening, a helicopter could have entered inland through a remote area near the coast to pick someone up and extract them. Could an aircraft have entered without us seeing it? Does the United States have low-signature helicopter versions? Radar, also with electronic warfare capability, do they have the ability to carry out a mission like this? Let's imagine for a moment. From the Maracaibo area, someone who wants to be extracted from Venezuela. He heads out in a discreet convoy without drawing attention to the coastal area, to a place where there's no one around. A helicopter that's been flying overhead for hours with in-flight refueling is also waiting there. The moment is approaching just as the F-18s are jamming the coast. It's the very important person. They get on the helicopter, they get on here and leave. Through the Gulf of Venezuela. Could it be? There's nothing that says it's impossible. It's an area that's practically uninhabited. There's no one there. You can get there, surely, with the capabilities that the United States has for surveillance. What's the best route to get there? Were they able to move around at that time and carry out the operation? I just drop it there. That would have been ideal to do, but for what reason? They're going to enter an area like the Gulf, Venezuela? Just to take a trip? Why? To bother Maduro. That doesn't work anymore, and they don't care. I think we're facing something interesting. Something else has happened here than what we might think. Or maybe as special operations groups have also been able to get in. That's another option. They could have gotten in. And deploy. Look. How things are, the settings are incredible. We see it here. This is the area we're talking about. In an area of the beach, yes. Arrives. Very low altitude and isolated from all else. The extraction takes place. The radars can't see anything. No one has seen anything. They're distracted and nervous, shivering because the F-18s are around here, circling. Radar operators are nervous and confused. Their missile systems fail, leaving them defenseless. Panic spreads just as the operation begins. Could it be the scenario Let's go with your opinions in the chat. Let's talk now about what you're thinking. By the way, where are you visiting us from today? Where are you watching military strategies from right now? 20,000 people live right now watching this whole story. I find it fascinating. Of course, it's fascinating that they've managed to get in there and the others just can't do anything. It's like, it's impossible for me to do anything because I don't have the technological capability to get there. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Come on, let's see what we have here. Well, a bunch of memberships. Oh my, this is crazy. Thank you so much, Comms. Victor, Cuban-American Congress members Maria Elvira Salazar and Carlos Jimenez are also in Oslo. Greetings from Dallas. Thank you so much, Miguel Sevillano. We welcome you this Sunday. Hopefully today or tomorrow, Venezuela will be freed from this oppressive, evil regime. Stay strong, Venezuelans. Liberation will come soon. Buka, the worst enemy of a woman is another woman. That's what Buka says, not me. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Sonia, greetings. Thank you so much. Commander Quinones mentioned the F-16s, the aircraft carrier, and the military's frustration at being unable to respond yesterday. That's true, they bring us bombs, but even so, it's still dangerous. I don't have any information on this topic. I've seen the statement from Quinones, Commander Quinones. I've seen it, but I haven't heard anything. If it had happened, I think we would have known if they had seen images. It's just that maybe it happened. I don't want to say yes or no. I think it's an unlikely scenario that some F-16 jets have gone into a dive toward the aircraft carrier. And I see this as very unlikely, especially because there's an immediate shoot-down order from the United States for months now, ever since that incident happened. I don't want to question what Commander Quinones says about this. He surely has information that I don't have, and that's normal. He's a man who has contacts within the military leadership and direct contact with Donald Trump, or so they say. But I haven't seen anything, and I don't think that scenario would be possible, personally, but with all due respect. What does Norway have to say, especially now that all police are guarding VIPs? Is there a terrorist threat of an attack against the Nobel Peace Prize, Janice? Thank you very much, Andrea Ardo, for your hard work lately. Strategies. The truth is, yes, strategies are in place. Like 50 jungle memberships, another 50, and another 50, that's 150.
Cuenta.
150 people have already joined military strategies today. Total madness. And I'm going to give away five military strategies memberships. I'll give you a few minutes to write for a chance to win. You can enjoy being a member. And those fantastic stickers that we have here, we have Maduro, we have Marco Rubio, we have everyone. PPP, look, they're all there. There you have them. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. 400,000, that's what we're aiming for. We're close to 500,000. Who would have thought? It feels like we just started yesterday. What a story. What a story. And what did Molino say? President, Panama.
That information that Panama is willing to offer some kind of exit asylum for Nicolás Maduro and other members of his cabinet, etc. How true is that information?
There's nothing even close to concrete, but I made that offer some time ago with the intention that, well, if that possibility exists. Panama has done it on other occasions in order to help resolve an international political crisis, especially one of this magnitude.
No.
I don't think it will happen. I think this man's arrogance, along with his followers, has already clouded his judgment. But anyway.
And have you been able to send that proposal to them in any formal way?
I have no contact with them at all.
I have no communication with those people. A while ago, I offered Maduro exile in Panama, but he's arrogant, overbearing, and he won't accept it. That's what Panama's president says. I've already said it. Maduro isn't going to leave.
That's good. Yes, thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
A big greeting.
There is Edmundo. Edmundo already looks tired. The man. Edmundo could have avoided this story. Enjoy his old age in peace. And he's still there. He really is. Yes, the president of Venezuela won the elections along with Maria Corina. Two work teams that have had to risk everything to be where they are now today in Oslo. There has been a lot of criticism. People are criticizing whether Maria Corina has gone, whether she is not going to go, whether she is going to go. The problem isn't that she's going. The problem is that they've promised her she'll return to Venezuela as a free person. If that's the case, we're in the week in which Venezuela could be set free. It could. I don't know when it's going to happen. Don't ask me when it's going to happen. I have my own personal idea. And I think that I understand when I could happen. But I'm not going to say it for now. Don't say no. Don't say it, because then it doesn't come true, because I'll be giving hints. I'll be giving hints. Look, I'm going to give you one that there via in which the weather situation are more favorable than others for launching attacks. What do I mean by this? That right now the moon is fading. The moon is fading. We've gone from a full moon and now we're waning. The darkness. Let's go with those 5 military strategy memberships. Let's do it. Come on, family, let's do it. Last chance. You must write, you must write. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We start with the memberships. There you'll see who gets them. 5 memberships. Stop. Let's see. Alice the vampire. To Cesar. To Denise. Oh my goodness. Really good people. Really good people. It's great. We already have several members from Military Strategies. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for gifting those memberships, family, and for being with us. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. A break for him, a new one on the 20th. But I'm also going to tell you something. Don't go by this. While reviewing the military operations, I noticed some occurred even during a full moon. I mean, it has nothing to do with it. What happens is that because of the type of mission, you need to evaluate many things. Let's see. If you want. We get into this like, I don't care. We're not in a hurry. No one's rushing us. Let's go. Type of combat mission in Venezuela is different from what we had seen until now. In modern times, it's a scenario in which there is some outdated anti-air defense, which is inferior to the aggressor's military capabilities. In this case, that would be the United States. The radars will be blinded. We've seen it already, so the radars won't work. What will we have left? We would have point air defense left. The closed one, the short-range one. That air defense type usually doesn't use radars. What it uses are night vision cameras with thermal imaging or thermal cameras to locate in the sky and adjust the shot, adjust the missiles to fire. What does Venezuela have, for example? Caracas. Caracas has something that's very curious. It's not the same for a plane to fly over a plain, where the sound is static, as it is for a plane to fly between mountains where the sound bounces around. And the thing is, you really don't know where it is with all the noise. So during the day with one of these planes, you don't know where it is. On a night with a full moon, the sky is more visible, so you can see the trails of the planes. You can more or less figure out where the planes are, but in a new moon condition, that is total darkness, when the electric systems of the cities are turned off, because they had to turn it off, either due to electronic warfare or because the generator was bombed. Let's imagine that Guadarrey and this whole area are in darkness, that all of Caracas is in darkness. It's more advantageous for the United States to do it during a new moon. To use the fact that by sound they won't be able to locate them because of the resonance of the mountains. Visually, they also won't have a clear target to be able to open fire. The targets to be attacked will likely be hit in 1 or 2 passes. With all available Air Force and deployments, the cruise missiles will launch in 1 or 2 passes, so they'll have the element of surprise. Planes approaching the coast at very low altitude, reaching the last point, gaining altitude, entering, launching the attack and getting out. And that's when they can't see anything. That's when they can't see anything. I would bet on a scenario like that, honestly, given the poor state of air defense. They can do it at any time. They can do it in the morning, at dawn, at sunset, during nap time. As we say in Spain, at any moment they can launch the attack at any time. Use a pen bomb, an electromagnetic pulse. For what? Why do you want to use that kind of technology?
Yeah.
Why would you destroy so much civilian infrastructure that you will later have to rebuild? You would be harming the civilian population. No, it's not necessary. I mean, no. No. Let's not make Nicolás Maduro bigger than he is. He's not. That is, his defense is not the Air Force. His defense is knowing where the planes are coming from, simply so he can hide. They have a network of tunnels, a network of tunnel systems. And what about those who are left on the surface? They're poor members of the Bolivarian militia being used as cannon fodder, disguised as civilians, to accuse the United States of attacking civilians. That's what it's for, nothing else. It's nothing other than the fact that Nicolás Maduro has already recruited all those people to send them out into the streets to harass the civilian population. Not to mention those from Fuerte Tiuna. If they attack anywhere, it'll be Fuerte Tiuna. The Defense Command Center that's around here, the building, the ministry, the defense, all of this is typical in this kind of operation. You break it to break morale. Seeing Fort Tiuna burning at dawn in a Caracas that has just been penetrated by the United States Air Force is a tremendous shock. Maduro's official residence, the CEOFN, which is the Strategic Operational Command, is this building we see here. All of this together is a brutal blow, and there's nothing they can do about it. The only thing they will be able to do, and it's what I've always said, is guerrilla warfare. Let's see who gets tired first. I don't think they're going to have that much support. I think that when people see others going out into the streets and starting to support Maria Corina, Edmundo, and the United States, if they want Maduro out, he will go. But he'll take the first hit and won't leave until he sees the first bomb drop? until he sees the first bomb. Let's see if Maduro is live. Let's see if Maduro is already speaking. Because, of course, he's going to have to say something. Why did the planes enter the Gulf of Venezuela? Someone will have to say something. Wait a moment. Not even the television is loading for me. Maduro. Of course, I think. Yes, it's live. Maduro is live.
Yes, Maduro is. Because now the Joropo, which is the backbone of the dance and of the National for Peace and Sovereignty. So, like two good rivers joining into a single stream, the National Economic Council and the National Council for Sovereignty and Peace come together, so that Venezuelan men and women can continue to come together, seeking points of consensus and, above all, carrying out great actions so that our country can thrive. As it is enjoying a climate of peace, understanding, and growth.
I don't know. The climate of peace, if it's about today's airplanes?
Of prosperity, the Venezuela of understanding and consensus. Common paths that must always be found, autonomous, sovereign paths that must always be built. The paths that are built solidly with our own effort are lasting, they are permanent. Today, moreover, it's December 9th for us, Venezuelans, heirs to the immense, unique glories extraordinary glories of the liberators of America. Today, December 9th, and these days are very special because we are
Son los últimos tuyos.
from the heart, the 201st anniversary of the great victory at the Battle of Ayacucho. And our great Marshal Antonio José de Sucre.
Look, how is life, right? They're celebrating a battle from 200 years ago when they are about to experience the great battle of this century. Instead of being worried about preparing for what's coming, he wants to go on television and give a message of normality. Nothing is happening here. Everything is fine. This is Nicolás Maduro's biggest mistake right now, not realizing how serious things are. It was going to happen, as Fairy Bitch I Love used to say. Are they going to show Nicolás Maduro some love? Did you know that yesterday Nicolás Maduro said that this whole opposition and elections thing is going down the drain?
What it meant 201 years ago, it meant a definitive breaking point.
Is that Diosdado Cabello's daughter, the one we see there?
Colonialism with dependence, with the domination that had subjugated our entire continent, today called Latin America and the Caribbean, that had subjugated all of the Americas.
Is it that you can't live in the past? Nicholas doesn't get it.
The response from the transportation sector to support communication and connectivity rights, as well as national tourism development, is impressive.
Yes, Russian tourists. Look, there's one thing that's clear in the manual I showed the other day. There's another one I have here that I haven't brought out yet, in which it says that one of the regime's priorities is to guarantee the supply of fuel to the troops of the revolution. That is, people who are in Venezuela. I know this is tough, because it's going to cost you a fortune to fill up your car's gas tank, to fill it up and buy a can of fuel. Because when this starts, they're going to leave you without gasoline. Literally, they're going to leave you without gasoline, with the motorcycles, the trucks, the military vehicles, and the regime's infrastructure that needs to move around the country. They're going to take all the fuel stations. And it's in the manual. Anyone with a car should do it if possible. Should do it.
Ministerio de Turismo. The aquatic transport.
Aquatic transport? Narcolanchas, Nicolás Narcolanchas.
Το marítimo as. Fluvial by river.
By river, exactly. Nicholas Orinoco.
So the transportation sector is incorporated as a new engine that must be fully integrated into the Bolivarian economic agenda plan from the year 2026 onward.
You're screwed, huh? He talks as if there had been. As if there had been a future with him. I mean, he says year 2026 year, but what year 2026? If you leave, Nicholas,
Those are truly impressive numbers.
right? The impressive number will be you leaving. Huh?
And motivating above all if we analyze the context. The historical context of the last few years.
He doesn't know what to say. He just doesn't know what to say anymore. He's finished. Look, just a few days ago, he seemed more or less okay. He believed. He thought he did. He doesn't know.
He doesn't have any more. What is he going to do?
What I really want, I'm telling you the truth. I'm looking forward to it. Is for him to fall if he starts singing. Because she's the one who knows everything about Spain. And what I want is for Spain to fall after this one. I want Spain to fall after this one, as you say here. Quiñones is welcome anytime. I don't know him personally or as Commander Quiñones. If you see him, let him know he can visit whenever he likes. This is his home. Also, there are many questions I would like to ask him about things that are happening and things they are saying are going to happen. I'm very curious. Hey. And what if in Oslo, Mundo and Maria Karina decide to stage some kind of inauguration? In exile? That's when it all begins. When they land, they're accompanied by a brutal military escort. Look, there's a video of Air Force One. This one that I'm going to put here so you can see it. It's an exercise where Air Force One is escorted by F-15 jets, and they're firing flares so that the missiles, those famous 5,000 missiles of Nicolás Maduro, can't shoot them down. So they make a kind of ring of fire firing flares so that the missiles go to those heat sources. Those flares they fire produce a lot of heat. So the missile gets diverted when it detects that heat source. Well, this isn't Air Force One. Excuse me, it's the South Korean plane. Sorry, I made a mistake. But just so you get an idea, it's more or less the same. These are exercises that are done regularly. Imagine yourselves arriving in a plane there at Simón Bolívar with F-15s escorting, firing flares. Well, this could be a show. The show is ready, and what's more, this is going to happen in the next few hours. Ah, sorry you weren't seeing it. You can see it now. The show's ready. I mean, imagine planes like that arriving there in La Guaira and me landing. What do you want me to say? Everything is... up in the air. Anything can happen. Anything could happen right now. If it doesn't, it's because God doesn't want it to. I don't know about you, but oh my God, when this starts, and Nicolás Maduro starts to realize of the reality of history, you'll see, he won't dance so much anymore. The little dances will be over. By the way, Milei arriving? This is incredible, Milei. Sweet. You have to see it, Milei, arriving to you. He has put on his work suit. It's from a petrochemical company in Argentina.
De Argentina.
And he has already arrived directly at the hotel. Oh my God. What do you guys think is going to happen? What do you think will happen in Venezuela in the next few hours? I think we're going to see a show. I think we're going to see a show in the movies. Look, Flores Fuerte, tuna. Lake of Valencia, the jungle. Where are they going to attack? Well, the question is, where can't they attack? Because really, nowhere. I mean, they can go anywhere. The United States going anywhere. Amazing. It's amazing, family.
Yep.
We'll see each other later. We're leaving soon. The friends from Guarimba have a special program, and I think Quinones will be there too. Can you go ask him all these things and all these stories? I'll stop by there later, probably if they invite me. If they want to invite me, please send my regards to Maria Gaston now, and I'll see you later, either at Guarimba or right here. Take care. Military strategies.